Hello everyone. Welcome back to our Python Masterclass. In the previous episode, we have learned about sets and dictionaries, two powerful collections that help us to organize and store data efficiently. Now we are going to move to another important topics that almost every single programmers used every day while programming, called strings. Think about it for a moment. Whenever you type your name, enter a password, or send a message, or even search on Google or even use ChatGPT, you are working with text. And in Python, text is stored as a string. Whenever you are building website, mobile apps, games, automation scripts, or AI applications, strings are everywhere. But why learning strings properly? That's why learning strings is properly is one of the most important steps in becoming Python developer. So let's begin. Before we start writing code, let's quickly cover what we are going to learn in today's lessons. We will begin by understanding why strings are needed and why exactly is a string. What exactly is a string? Then we will learn about how to create strings, use different types of quotation marks, and understanding special characters called escape characters. After that, we will explore indexing, slicing, and several useful string methods that makes working with text incredibly easy. We will learn the modern strings formatting using F strings. Build using some practical questions. Discuss about common beginner mistakes, and finally solve some practical questions to strengthen our understanding. By the end of this lecture, you will able to comfortably handle almost every Python programming related to text. Now, before we learn something new, it's always useful to understand why it exists. Imagine you want to store the word hello without a string. You would need something like you will need every character needs its own variable. Now imagine storing the entire paragraph or a 1,000 word article or someone Hmm. or someone's address. Managing all that would be impossible. Fortunately, Python gives us a much better solution. So instead of every single character, we stores everything inside a single variable. That's much cleaner, easier to read, and easier to maintain. Let's look at some real life example. Whenever you log into a website, your username is stored as a string. Your password is also stored as a text. Messages on WhatsApp, Instagram, Telegram are all strings. Email address, website URLs, search queries, product names, book titles, all of them are strings. So every real world software's applications work with a string almost constantly. Now let's define it properly. A string. So what's a string? So a string is a sequence of characters enclosed inside single, double, or triple quotation marks. That's the sounds technical. So let's break it down. So for first, sequence of characters. So sequence of characters basically means characters include letters, numbers, spaces, or even special characters, special symbols. Sorry. For example, Python can contain the word Python, letters 1, 2, 3, 4, but it can also contains quotation marks inside. Python treats all of them as text. When it even it if contains a space, it will be treated as one string. So let's verify it. So here you can see the output, everything inside quotation marks becomes a string. So now let's understand the three important characteristic of a string. First is the ordered. Every single character has a fixed position called index. The first character always start at index 0. We will learn this in detail shortly after. After that, immutability. So immutable means once a string is created, individual character cannot be modified. Don't worry if it sounds confusing. We will understand immutability more properly later. Iterable basically means Python allows us to visit one character at a time using loops. For example, if we can print every characters of the word in Python one after another, we will also learn everything in detail. So after now, let's create our own string. Python provides three ways to create it. So the first way is name equals to John. Print name. Then the another way, city equals to Delhi. Print city. So basically, you can see once I have used single quotes and the other time I have used double quotes. Both works exactly the same. So which should one we should prefer? Most developers use the double quotes, especially when the text contains a single quote. Something like it's a single quote. So we use double quote. And we used single quotes here inside as a apostrophe. Now we will learn about something more interesting called triple quotes. So here we can go with text equals to 1, 2, 3. Welcome to Python 1, 2, 3. So basically this print text. Triple quotes are useful for paragraphs, documentation, and multi-line text. So basically, if you try to do this using double quotes, it will cause an error. But it works perfectly fine for when we are using triple quotes. The multiple lines can be written at once. Now let's move to escape character. So basically what's escape character is, so sometimes we want to do a special formattings of the strings. So for that for example, if we want to move to the next line, add a space, print quotation marks, or provide, Python provides special characters everything with a backslash. Let's see some common ones. So for that, let's go on the first one. Print, oh, print hello backslash n world. And when you print this, it will move to next line. So basically slash n is used for next line. Then there comes print Python developer, and in this place we will go with backslash t. Backslash t is used for tab spacing, means 4 time spacing. Then there comes quotes inside quotes. So basically, let me type you to so print he said Python is cool, and another backslash with an ending this. And after clicking on run, we can see that the double quotes are being printed. Without the backslash, Python will think it as a strings and end it too early, resulting in an error. Then after that, there comes the double backslash. So here print. These are basically used when we are typing addresses. Let me show you, then you will be able to understand. Backslash user backslash Python And when we click on run, this type of addresses that we are or you can say working Windows working file paths. Then there comes single quote, single quotes. Same like down quotes. We can also do with the single quotes. Now think of escape characters as special instructions in Python. Instead of printing ex- exactly what you type, they tell Python to perform a specific task, actions, or like moving into next line, adding spaces, or printing quotation marks correctly. Now that's we know how to create strings and understand their basic structure. Let's move one step further. One of the biggest advantage of a string is that we don't need to do the entire text. Sometimes we need a specific character or maybe just a part of the string. Python makes it incredibly easy using indexing and slicing. Let's start with it. So, uh, here, every characters inside a strings automatically get a position number. These position numbers are called indexes. These position numbers are called indexes. The most important rule in Python is that Python starts counting from zero, not one. Take the word like Python. So here, basically, you can see it is starting from one. Sorry, zero, not one, and so on. So let's verify this on coding platform. Word, Python, print, word, print, word. And when Python sees the word zero, it goes to the index zero and prints T. Similarly, when it sees word three, it goes to H and returns a H. That's very simple. Now let's try another one. Language equals to programming print language at 4. Now, can you guess the outputs? Let's count it together. So P is 0, R is 1, O is 2, G is 3, and R is 4. So basically we have index 4. So here you can see R is being printed, which is here. Now let's see what happens if we ask Python for an index that doesn't exist. Let's do with 40. So Python immediately show an index error. So if you try to go out of the indexing, it will cause an index error because strings contain only 6 characters. There was no 48th character. It will cause an index error, and it is usually means we are trying to access a positions that never existed. Now moving on to negative indexing. Positive indexing starts from beginning, but what if we want to do from the backwards? So that's called negative indexing. Now look at the same word again, Python. So here the negative indexing starts like this. The character is Python. So here -1 is for n, and similarly all other numbers are being assigned. So let's see. Let's cross verify it. Here we can see that the last characters is n, and here n is being printed, which is -1, and the second last character is o, which is o being printed. Isn't it very useful? Many beginners try to code like this. Let me show you the code. Print, print, print. Basically both works completely fine, but this is unnecessarily long. Just prefer this one. For the last characters, last backward, just prefer the Python style. So professional developers use negative indexing for backward one. So now think about reading a queue from back. Instead of counting everyone from the front, you can simply give the statement like give me the last person. That's exactly how what we are doing here. Now there comes string slicing. Sometimes we don't need just one character. We need more than one characters. They need a group of characters. That is called slicing, because and the general syntax for slicing is you can see on the screen, string, start, stop, and step, just like the loop range one. This might look confusing, but it's the same like the before. And here, start the index where slicing begins, stops the position where slicing ends. But remember one important rule: the stop index is not included. So just stops before it. And after that, steps. This tells Python how many positions to move each time. Normally the step is 1, so the Python moves one character at each time. So let me show you with an example. And clicking on run, we can see Python is being printed, but as the indexing is starting from 1, so from y, which is y, then moves to index 2, which is t, then move to index 3, which is h, and then it reaches 4 and immediately stop. Remember, the index 4 is always excluded, so that's why it's got printed yth. We can also do it like this. So basically this means as the starting is missing, so whenever the start is omitted, Python automatically begins from the 0th index, or even we can do the opposite way. Here the stop is missing, and when the stop is omitted, the Python continues till the very end. So it printed everything after the 2th index. Now let's do a reverse string, which is one of the more another cool feature here. You can see the Python is, let's understand this. Here as the start is omitted, so the Python starts from the end, and the stop is also omitted, so the step is -1, which means move backward one character at a time. And here you can see it's starting moving backward one character at a time. Just one line of code and the entire string is reversed. This is very popular interview question, so remember it well. Now think of slicing like cutting a loaf of bread. Instead of cutting the whole loaf, you just choose exactly where do you want to slice. Python lets you cut exactly the same way. Now that we know how to access different parts of slicing, let's explore one of the most important features of a strings method called string method. Imagine you have a sentence. Sometimes you want to convert it into uppercase, or sometimes you just want to remove the extra spaces. Sometimes we need to replace one word with another. So, or split a sentence into individual words, as we have used earlier. Instead of writing long programs, Python already provides built-in methods to do all these tasks. let's see one by one. We will begin with changing the appearance of the text. Strings are immutable. That doesn't mean we cannot change the original strings. It just means they return to a new string. We will understand immutability in details later, but keep this point in mind while using these methods. So moving on with the hello Python world using the text dot upper, we can print everything in the uppercase. Even the lowercase becomes the uppercase. The original strings, however, remains unchanged. And now moving on to the upper, as we have done the uppercase, we will do the lowercase to print text dot lower. You can see everything is converted back to lowercase. That's exactly how it's the simplest form. Now moving on to the another title way. Suppose let me first do the code. Suppose we want every word to begin with capital letters. There comes the title. This is commonly used while displaying names of books or headings. Then there comes another capitalize. So let's capitalize first letter of the entire. So it's capitalized first letter of the sentence. Let me show you text dot capitalize. Here you can see the first character of the sentence is capital. Only the first characters will be capital. All other will be smaller. Then there comes swap cases. So swap cases print text dot. As the name suggests, swap case just converts uppercase to lowercase and lowercase to the uppercase. As you can see in the out. Now think of these methods like changing text formatting in Microsoft Word. Instead of clicking buttons, Python does everything in a single method. Now let's learn some useful methods used for cleaning, searching, and replacing text. These are useful when we are working with user inputs. Suppose users have entered a text something like this. You can see the spaces here. So basically, we can trail spaces from behind and from front using dot strip. Then there comes another called print raw dot l strip. So this gets rid of spaces from the right side. This is completely spacious, so we didn't understand. We can do like this for easy understanding. One space here. No, it will not work then. How can I show you? Leave it. Then there comes R. Just think it. What it does mean. So there another comes raw dot R strip. Clicking on run. Here, everything from the right side is being removed and the left side space is remaining. After that, there comes message equals to I love Java. Then there we will do print message dot replace replacing Java with Python. And now we can see in the output, I love Python. Then finally we will go with print msg dot find love. It will return us the index, static index of the text we are searching. If we will search something that is not present in the uh, present in the text, it will cause -1, which means it returns not found, which means -1. Then think about about the search feature in a PDF reader. You type a word and the software tells you where it appears. That's exactly how the find works. Now let's learn two methods you will use in almost every project, that called split and join. So suppose we have a sentence. Let's move to the coding again. Suppose we have sentence apple, banana, and cherry. Now we want each fruit to separate. So for that we can go for it like this: fruits equals to text dot split, and we can either put any data or we cannot put, we can leave the data. So if we will leave the data, it will directly think it as a space, and if we put a data, then it will use the current position. Oh, let me print it. Print fruits. You can see all are being separated. This has now become a list, and the comma acted as the separator. Let me show you with another example. Python is awesome. Print dot, as I have already explained you this verbally, let me show you the coding for this split. Here also you can see Python split, it's using spaces. Now moving on to another for online. Moving on to another, we can also join sentences using like this. Sen equals to basically we need to put what we are, how we want to join. We can put anything inside those string, inside those quotes, and then we can put here words this to make sentence, and then we can print sentence, and it will be in parenthesis. You can see it has become a now sentence. Not list. This is very common beginner mistake. Many think it as a list. Then there comes file name equals to program dot py. Print file name dot starts with program File name program, and when we will run it, it will print true because if the beginning matches as it will return true. We can also go with print file name dot endswith. It will also print true. Basically, these are used to check file extensions. Then there comes count. Text equals to, then we need to use the text dot count python. Clicking on run, we can see it's printing 3. Simple yet extremely useful. Imagine you are organizing books in a library. Sometimes you need to categorize books. That we can do using split. Then sometimes we need to combine different notes into one document. That's where join comes. Sometimes we need to search a word in the book. There comes the find. Then there's when we want to replace the old information with the new, there comes replace. These methods pose an incredibly important way for us. Now we have learned how to create strings, access individual characters, slice them, and use many useful string methods. Now let's understand one of the most important concepts in Python called string immutability. This concept often appears in interviews, and understanding it will also explain why strings methods behaves the way they do. After that, we will learn how to loop through strings, and finally, we will look at the modern way of formatting text using f strings. So let's continue. Here earlier I mentioned something important. I said strings are immutable, but what does that actually mean? So immutable simply means cannot be changed after once it's created. Once Python creates a strings, its individual characters cannot be modified directly. Let's see it and in action. So you can see the error pop up because the strings are immutable. Python does not allow you to replace individual characters. So how do we modify a string? So instead of modifying the original strings, we can create a brand new using this way. New equals to j plus text from 1 to end. Now print new. This will not work. Won't this? No, it will work. Now you can see it's printing. Let's understand this here. Basically, text 1 plus I it returns us with this much. and we have joined this much with J, and creates the entirely new string. Notice something important: the original string text Python is already as it is, but we have created a new string for that. Here how string modifications works in Python. So why did Python make string mutable? There are several reasons. First, it improves security. If multiple parts of programs use the same strings, no one could accidentally modify it. Second, it improves memory efficiency. Python can safely reuse identical strings, saving memory. Third, it makes programs much more reliable, especially in large application. As a beginner, you don't need to remember all technical details right now. Just remember one simple rule: a string cannot be modified character by character. Now looping through strings, let's see how the process characters inside a string. Strings are iterable. We can use using a for loop to visit one character at a time. Let's see it in the code. Word equals to Python for character in word print character. And here you can see the first characters goes inside ch, which means which is p. Then the Python prints it, and then during the second execution it takes y, then t, then h, then o, then n, and at last you can see it has printed Python. One character is printed in every iteration. Think of it like reading a book letter by letter. Instead of reading the whole word at once, you read P, then Y, then T, then and continued until the end. That's exactly how Python uses for. Now let's learn how programmers combine text and variable. And this process is called text formatting. Before F strings were introduced, Python developers mainly use three methods. Let's very briefly understand them. The first method is using plus. Here you can see, since a here is an integer, we must convert it into a string using str, and otherwise Python shows type error. This approach works, but if it becomes larger, it's become an issue. Then there comes the second method. This is type comes from C programming language. Although it still works, it's rarely used in Python, modern Python. Then there comes format. So format, this method is much more cleaner than the previous two. You still find it in all the Python projects. However, today most developers use the f strings way. And now let's learn the easiest and the most powerful formatting method called the f string method. So the starts with. So an f string starts with letter F before the quotation mark. You can see variables written inside the curly braces. Let's see with an example for much more easier convenience. Name equals to John. Marks equals to 95. Then print F name is scored marks. Now the output becomes John scored 95 marks. Much cleaner, isn't it? One of the amazing features of f string is that they can evaluate expressions directly. For example, if we will do this, that less. Or here we will go with 100 minus marks. See, it has just calculated automatically. We can call every functions inside the braces and it will works fine. Let me show you with. Here you can see the name has become capital, even the functions works inside the f string. You can use variables, calculations, and every even functions call. Why do professionals prefer f strings? So there are three main reasons. The first reason is it's very easy to read. They are usually faster than the older formatting method, and then they reduce mistakes because you don't have to worry about placeholder order or manual type conversion. Whenever you write modern Python code, f strings could be a much more better choice. Now we have covered almost all the theory related to a string. You know how to create strings, access characters, slice them, and use string methods. Understanding immutability and format text using f strings. Now it's time to combine all these concepts into practical example. Before building our projects, let's learn a few important built-in functions that makes working with strings much easier. These functions are used frequently in real-world Python programs. Let's begin. Unlike string methods, these are called built-in Python functions. Instead of writing, we can just understand it. Let me go to the coding platform. Text equals to Python print length of text. You can see it's printing six characters as six as it has six character. Remember, the spaces are also counted as string. Print. We can just edit this one. Here you can see it has increased to 20 as spaces are also counted as characters. Now there comes another print max A B C. Here C is printed because Python compares characters using the sky values and the characters with the highest value is returned. Then their same comes with the minimum, doing the vice versa. Print min A B C. Here the smallest one is printing value with the smallest which is A. Now let's do with the sorted sorted. You can see it is being sorted. It's not it's returning a list, not a string, so we can join it using the join one character. After that let's move to another. How to check any characters sky values? For that there comes an ord. Basically capital A's sky value is 65, so you can see. Then there is CHR, which means characters. It does the basically the opposite of what we are doing now. It means the opposite of ORD. Okay. 66, which is B. You can see the B is being printed that converts a Skype value into a character. Then there comes STR. Let's do it. Age equals to 20. Enter. Here can cause an type error because we haven't converted the number into a string. So for that, we need to do it like this. STR. Now it will be work completely fine. So using fstring is usually a better choice. Now moving on to some coding part. Let's build a question. Suppose we are creating a sign up page. We don't want the users to choose weak password, so let's create a small, let's create a a strong password checker. For that, let's move to coding platform. PWD equals to is long equals to length. PWD which should be greater than equals to 8. Then there comes has upper equals to any, which means even one will work. C dot is upper for C in PWD password. Then there comes has digit equals to any C dot is digit um, for C in password, and then if is long and has upper and has digit, print a strong password, else print string and it. We can also make it more interesting by uh, taking it as input. Let's check it again, strengthen it. So basically, it is now a more interactive program, as it checks every characters. It asks the user for the characters, and it checks whether if the password is strong or the other password is weak. Now moves to another. Word counter. Let's build another useful program using it. We want to count how many words it contains. So basically, for that, now moving on to the next useful question, where we suppose someone to enter a paragraph and we want to count how much words it contains. So basically, for that, let me show you the coding. For that, if it's all, I want the text to be copied. So now we will go with words equals to text dot split, then total words equals to length of words, print f total words total words. Now we'll run it. Mhm. Basically, you can see, let's understand. First, split breaks the paragraph into individual words. Now, after that, instead of one long strings, we have the list of words. Finally, the length counts the number of words. Then we can get it printed and the number of words using that. These are basically used in document editors, text analysis, and AI application. Next, there comes the palindrome checkers. Another question comes is the palindrome checker. So, a palindrome is the word when you try to read from left to right and right to left, spell the same, like madam, level, and radar. All those are palindrome. And let's build a program to do the checking of palindrome using the palindrome checker using a function. Def is spell word clean equals to word dot lower return clean equals to clean opposite. Yes. Then we'll print it. Print is L, and then we will go with madam. Then we will also go with is palindrome. And here inside it will be Python. Now let's understand the logic. First, we convert the words into lower code. course. That makes it the comparison much more easier, as the comparison we are doing here is case sensitive. That we will reverse the string using the slicing, and then we compare the with the original strings that with the reverse strings. And here you can see Python brings false and the other brings true. The simple idea appears in coding interviews, comparative programming, and many other programming situations. Think about looking at a word in a mirror, and if it looks the same as from the backwards, it's palindrome. Exactly, that's what our program is checking. Huh. Now we have learned almost everything about strings in Python, from creating strings to indexing, slicing, string methods, immutability, looping, formatting, and even building some small questions. Before we finish this chapter, let's look at some common mistakes that beginner always makes. Knowing these mistakes will solve your debugging time in future. So programming is all about learning from mistakes, and honestly, every Python programmer has made mistakes at least once. Let's understand them one by one. Mistake one in this. First mistake is forgetting that indexes start from zero. Many beginners start counting its position from one instead of zero, so that's an error. After that, their error is another error is accessing an invalid index. So basically, when we try to access index that are not present in the string, means the characters, like the Python has only 6 characters, but when we try to access 10 characters, 10th character, it will cause an error because it is out of range. After that, when we try to modify strings, so basically strings are immutable, and when we will try to modify strings, it will cause an error. And the another mistake is when we try to when we forgot about strings methods return a new strings. Basically, when we try to use any methods like up dot upper dot lower, these returns new strings. They doesn't did the original one. Another mistake is confusing between split and join. So basically, splits convert strings to list, and join converts list to string. Just keep the difference in mind. Now let's give you some practice question to do. So pause the video and try these questions. So first, you need to in question 1, create a string containing your name, print the character, print the first and the last character only. After that, print the string in reverse order using slicing. Another question. Then next question is, print how many times the letter appears in the A appears in the sentence. Let me see the question. And after that, another question comes where it's asked for the user to enter a sentence, and you need to count the number of words. And the last is asked for the use of a word and check if it's an anagram or not. And then there comes one small programs where you can do with the password one. So now that's all. Let's summarize. So we have started by understanding what strings are, why are they used, and we learned how to create strings using single, double, and triple quotes. After that, we explored possible positive indexing, negative indexing, and slicing. Next, we learned several useful methods like upper, lower, replace, find, split, join, strip, and many more. Then we understand that strings are immutables, meaning individual characters cannot be modified or accessed directly. After that, we learned how to loop through strings and format using the modern f strings. Finally, we explored useful built-in functions, built 3 questions, and we discussed common mistakes that beginners should avoid. If you understood this much, everything we have covered for today, and you know you are having great foundations in working with text in Python. So for the next, that if you found this lesson helpful, make sure to practice this exercise we discussed today. The more you code, the more confident you will become. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to like, share it with your friends if you want. Thank you for watching. Keep practicing. That's all. Thank you.